The sponsor of this episode is Chadwell Supply, an OG in the multifamily industry. Chadwell Supply is the largest privately owned maintenance and repair supplier, and they deliver orders the next day from local warehouses across the United States. To find out how Chadwell Supply will make your day better, visit www.chadwellsupply.com/difference.
Hello, welcome to another episode of 8 Stories. I'm Sharon Cauthen, and I'm here with my co-host, Jennifer Carter. And this is the podcast where we tell 8 stories every week from around the multifamily space on trends, the latest books that are out, fun things that are happening in the industry. And so we're excited to kick it off this week. And Jennifer has found a great number one. So here we go with our first story.
Thank you. All right, we are. I'm excited too. The first one we have is our worst leadership manual. If that doesn't get your attention as a title, I'm not sure what does. But that is the title of Gregory's new book. And you may know him from his super fantastic series. He's got several books out. One of the ones that I've had the pleasure of jumping in with him on is the super fantastic Me. I actually have the book myself, but this brand new book that he has is a satirical book about leadership. If you're looking to laugh, not have a serious read, we've had some folks that we are, good friends with have seen and read as well, and seen some early reviews telling us that you will not be disappointed. So this one does go on sale. Actually, as a matter of fact, my days are a little crazy. Went on sale yesterday,
Yes.
April 1st. So give him a follow on LinkedIn, check out his new book, and I'm sure he'll appreciate any review that you can give him.
Yeah, Gary's not a novice. He is a great speaker. He's very entertaining. His energy's off the charts, and you will always enjoy anything that he puts out. But I love that he put on his satire hat for creating this book. I'm excited to get it myself. I do not have possession of it yet. I was not one of the early ones, but believe you me, I will get it.
Oh, I love that. We'll leave our own review very soon.
Yes, and we will tag him in the show notes, so you'll be able to find Gary, and we'll put a link to his book for you.
Absolutely. All right. So I think that to floor two, right? Floor two,
Yes.
and our 8 stories here. And this one, I think we all know, but I think we need to really dig deeper on what it really means. And that is what today's renters' expectations are. We continue to hear that. We continue to change up our mindset, but thinking in the respect that they're truth seekers. So what does that really mean? To me, I believe our renters are looking really for unveiling the truth or the authenticity, the realism behind what they're searching for in their home. So that leads to digital, to in person, to being a resident, all pieces of their journey. One thing that makes me think of the truth seekers is talking about prospects and residents. And you may be familiar with Rent Grata. They do a great job of having a little chat bot on your website where you can ping current residents that live there to really tell you what the truth really is, right? So resident or prospects can really look into behind the curtain what it really is like to live at that property and get the truth, right? Not just looking at what is on the website.
It makes me think when you say that about advertising. So how many times have you seen, and it's a 1970s cinder block building, and it's advertised as a luxury community? Well, it's not true, and they know it's not true. So it's far better, I think, in your advertising to say what you are. That we're a mid-century building with a lot of heart. It's very retro, but it's up to date in all the ways that matter. Like, tell the truth, because what happens is every single renter has a microphone to the world in their hand. So if you are not telling the truth, if you're being vague, if you're just being blatantly lying, they're going to cut you out on it, and they're going to share it with the world. So it's so much better to invite people into the real authentic experience they're going to get there. Also about things like, if you say something, we're working on it, it'll be better soon. What does that mean? Like, you've got to be honest with people so that I think people can accept the ugly truth better than a pretty lie. So
Yeah,
just whatever it is, it is.
that's
Say it
true.
respectfully, but be honest.
Yeah, because there's something for everybody, right? I think there's that. But I love I don't even know why I can't even recall the words, but the words you just said about like what kind of apartment, like your words just spoke to me. And it may be an older style apartment home, but using the right words to convey that look will really be truthful. So you even had me. I don't even know what apartment you were talking about. Uh,
Fictitious 1970s apartment.
I love it. I love it. All right, so tell the truth, be honest, and I think that'll go a long
Transparent.
way. Yes, for sure. All right, Sharon, I think you have the third floor of our stories
The
this
third
week.
story, yes. So this is something I listen to a lot of our podcasts because the Multifamily Media Network has a lot of podcasts out there, and one of my roles is to listen and to work on show notes and that kind of thing. So I get to pick up tidbits of information from all of our hosts. So I feel like I'm sort of in a behind the scenes masterclass every week with all these great podcast hosts. So Paul Rhodes, who hosts Maintenance Mindset, and he does these little short episodes called Maintenance Mindset Minute. And he spoke on the importance of systems, and one of the things he talked about was, you have to maintain how many parts you need to have before you reorder. Don't let it get below a certain amount before you have reordered. All the organization of the shop, and just how important those systems are. And I thought, yeah, he said one thing you should do is every single week, non-negotiable, there's a 30-minute block of time where all maintenance comes into the shop and we get it organized and we're set to go for the next week. And I thought, how smart, because not only you're not passing off grunt work to anybody, what you're doing is really training everybody where things should be. And even new people are learning this is the way we organize things at this property, and therefore everybody's more efficient in their work. But I thought, we don't do that in the office. And that, what a great tidbit for the office to say once a week, we're going to take a hard look at where are the little piles building up, where's clutter creeping in. Mike Brewer had a post recently about clutter. It blocks clarity,
Oh,
and
that's
so
good.
yeah, how important that would be. So I really think in every lesson about maintenance, there is something that leasing and management can take away and apply in our systems. So that it really struck me, and thank you. Hat tip to Paul Rhodes for that great piece of advice.
I think, and you kind of struck a little chord with me there. Is sometimes leasing and maintenance are so separate that we forget that we can learn from each other, right? In the basics of, whether it's the tips on a weekly basis. It doesn't have to be something so extravagant, but taking a look at what other areas of the community are doing and giving that a try. So I love that. That's cool.
I like it too. I like that, maintaining a standard, setting the standards so people know what they are, and then maintaining them.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
everyone, I'd love to hear though from our audience. So if you have great systems for you, what you set aside time for once a week, what you really focus on, I'd love for you to share it in the comments, because we don't pretend to know everything there is to know. I've been in the industry for a very long time, and there's still plenty I don't know. So we love to learn from you. So please share some of your great tips for maintaining your standards.
Yeah. We'll get those back out to everybody else too. That'd be great. All right. I
All
think we're
right,
moving up
number
to floor
four,
four.
story 4.
That's you too, man. You got this one. This was a one I think that's near and dear to your heart.
It really is. And so this is about preventing burnout. And I think we talk about burnout and we think it means that someone needs a vacation. And by the time someone really reaches burnout, a vacation won't fix it. And so
Hmm.
if we're not doing things all the time that really force self-care. So for example, when I came up through the industry, you were never off. No one thought twice about you coming in on the weekends, about you working late into the evening. Nobody said, no, that's your personal time and you need to go home. There was an expectation. And I became acquainted with burnout in a real and personal way. And I know that it takes a long time to come back from that. So what we can do though is we can say, I'm sending this email at this hour because that's when I'm available. You are not required to even read this email or
Mm,
respond. Please do not read or respond to this email tonight. It can wait until tomorrow morning. Like, set real clear boundaries that say, and if it's an emergency, I'll call you. Other than that, you do not need to respond to anything I send out after hours. It's even better if you don't send it out after hours, but it's
mm.
true that leaders are often traveling and they land where they land in order to reconnect again. But we need to think about making PTO really kind of sacred. We don't interrupt someone's PTO. So
Yeah.
all the things that we can do that make it possible for people to be plugged into their lives all the way around will help prevent burnout from happening, so that we don't lose people, good people,
Mm.
because they can't do it anymore.
We're not there yet in the US, but I think there is. I don't know if it was maybe it's Australia. They actually, I think, are trying to bring in a law where you can't actually contact your folks or your employees after a certain hour because it's hard to put that delineation right in there. But if everybody's on the same page, as you said, and setting those boundaries, then holding to those, I think we can maybe help some folks, right, get a little bit of a break, if you wish, or balance, and be able to come in the next day feeling pumped up and ready to go.
I always wince when I see that someone high up in leadership has gotten a bee in their bonnet and they're sending out emails that are stopping people's hearts. So they spend the whole night thinking, oh my God, this is going to be terrible tomorrow. I've got to get in there early. Everybody's got to. And so every leader down the chain is also calling all their people because they're panicked about this thing. And we can do everybody a big favor by keeping that in the draft box until the first thing the next morning, so they don't spend all night long fretting about this fire that we've set that they
Yeah.
can't solve, right? Because it's
Yeah.
usually something to do with, we want higher occupancy, higher rents, we want something, right? Or I drove through the property and I saw a bag of trash. But let's
Yeah.
not give people all night long to fret about what they cannot do anything about. And I'm not saying those things aren't important. I'm saying if this is important to us, then we have to behave as though it's important to us. And that
Oh,
is by
that's
not
good.
setting fires late at night.
That's good. Yeah. I love that. All
Do
right.
you have any thoughts on the whole burnout topic?
Mm, I know that I personally have to work on that myself. I'm trying to block time to use that also, right? Is to like block time so that like not feeling like I'm burnt out, right? What's coming into my inbox or what I need to push out. So sometimes it's adjusting my own work to not feel burnt out. And
Right.
shifting those thoughts into that. I mean, I guess I could take a lesson from my kids, right? I always tell them, is it fire, flood, or blood? Right? Like, is somebody's arm chopped off? Is somebody bleeding? Then that's an emergency. We probably could use the same, thought process or filter when we're thinking through something. Uh, is it really important to send it now? Because we're quick, or a text message, right? Like, is that even
Oh,
the right
yes.
means to communicate with somebody via text message versus an email?
Especially if you're
Um,
upset about something. That's the
yeah,
worst.
yeah, I like the draft. I have heard that before, and that is to draft it, leave it, and come back to it. And that does help sometimes simmer down some things as well. Chadwell Supply is the proud sponsor of Multifamily Media Network. Chadwell Supply is the largest privately owned MRO supply company and is committed to the multifamily industry. They deliver orders the next day from local warehouses across the United States. Chadwell Supply offers valuable resources such as maintenance training, a dedicated renovations team, and procurement platform assistance, ensuring multifamily properties operate more efficiently. Now, by partnering with Chadwell Supply, they'll help communities stand out in an increasingly competitive market. So learn more at chadwellsupply.com/difference.
Yeah, you rethink what the message is,
Mm-hmm.
and you gave the gift of a good night's sleep to those employees as
Yeah.
opposed to having them stressed all night. And the story I'm telling myself is, with the market being different right now and rents aren't growing as fast, and expenses are going up. So every property is going to be under a lot of sharp scrutiny about performance. And that is a recipe for too many chefs in the kitchen barking at this one poor staff to somehow make miracles happen. And so we really have to be thoughtful about that, because this is the time, this is the season when we start burnout in this particular kind of market situation. So it's a chance, I think, for some companies to demonstrate a different way of handling the market and their employees, and they might see that retention is better as a result.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, I think we're going to move
I'll
on to
stop banging that drum. And
it's needed, though. It's needed. A lot of people, I think, need to kind of be reminded of that. So, all good. Let's shift to something
yes,
fun, right? Bananas. Bananas is the key word.
well, bananas are great. They're full of potassium. They're tasty. But what I'm talking about is the Savannah Bananas. And if you don't know who the Savannah Bananas are, you are missing out. They are a minor league baseball team in Savannah, Georgia. And in 2016, their owner, Jesse Cole, they brought the bananas to the field, and he really understood that this was about more than baseball. This was about theater. So I describe this as being part P.T. Barnum, part magician. I mean, they know how to entertain. They bring entertainment. Their mascot is a muscle-bound banana named Split. I don't know why he has such big muscles, but I love that his name is Banana Split. But it's part, the circus. It's part Harlem Globetrotters, because these guys can play ball. They win all the time. They're super great, but they also break out into, if you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. They break out into dances in the middle of the game. This crowds come in full. I mean, the owner, Jesse Cole, he wears a yellow tuxedo to every game.
Wow.
It's incredible. It's hard to get a ticket to this game. Like,
Yeah,
they get sold out.
I will say, Sharon, I have a ton of friends on social media who were just at a bunch of games recently, and I have yet to take my kids. So it is something that is pretty wild. But you're saying about the fun part. It makes me think that in our industry, we sometimes lose the fun and entertainment, right? In what we do. And sometimes we get really down the stress hole, if you wish, right? Of the rabbit hole of pushing occupancy and numbers and all this other mandated or stuff that we have to focus on. And the opportunity really is there to have fun while you're getting the fundamentals and in those numbers where they're supposed to be, just like baseball, but they're creating entertainment in the baseball field. And I think we can take away something from that, especially in the office. And there's some folks I think that do a great job, especially have fun on social media, like we talked about last week in our episode. But this really just makes me think that we can have fun in what we do every day in our industry.
This is a phrase from Grey's Anatomy, early days of Grey's Anatomy, and that was this idea of a 30-second dance party. And just what a way to de-stress the day, right? It's all hands coming to the office. We crank up the music, and we have a 30-second dance party. We dance it out,
that's awesome.
And then we all get back to work. I think the more people are willing to be goofy in front of each other, the more connected they get. Like it stops being a tug of war and becomes sort of everybody's on the same side.
Yeah. I think it's fun.
Have a banana split while you're doing it. But if you have not seen the Savannah Bananas, look them up. I want to go to Savannah, Georgia and watch a minor league baseball game because of these guys. And I never thought those words would be something I said.
I'll have to break out my my yellow clothes.
The thing is, what is he doing different from any other minor league? He turned it into spectacle. He made it, Mike often talks about that this property management is a theater, and every day we pull back the curtains and we begin the show. And so I think that we should lean into that and really use the Savannah Bananas kind of as an example, because baseball's entertaining and long and hot dogs are okay. But when you turn it into this spectacle of entertainment, it's so unexpected and so amazing. People bring their babies dressed as bananas. They have banana bachelor parties. Like, it is a whole thing to be a fan of the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah. Okay. We can move on because we do have some more stories, but I do want to mention, because I do think this is also pertinent to our industry. When you create that atmosphere or that, fun, you would also have others talking about it. And that is marketing. And I think that's really the cool thing also. When you are focused on the fun in your property, whether that's residents, your other staff, prospects, that becomes almost, a free marketing piece where you are getting others folks out there to talk about you, and what amazing things you're doing at your community. So I think they're doing something really cool.
Absolutely. Well, I won't keep us there any longer. We'll leave the bananas on floor on story 5, and we will go on up to the next floor to story number 6.
Yes, and that we're flipping bananas to going green. And if you can remember,
I
maybe
don't
you
mind a
still
green
do.
banana.
No, I don't like green bananas either. But going green, most people can think of the worst moving gifts ever. I'll give you one example that might come to mind: plunger and toilet paper. Uh, that's always
The
the
worst.
it is. But even someone without a green thumb can really appreciate, right, a nice plant, some notes about what it is, how much it needs sun, how much water it really needs. A growing plant is a special gift, and I don't disagree. I don't have the best green thumb, but I love plants. They bring, I don't know, something out in me, right? When you have them sitting at the corner of your um of your office, it really eludes something really, really cool. So I love that. What do you think?
I mean, I my entire life was almost proud of having no green thumb whatsoever. I would say, bring me cut flowers. I know they're going to die. But then one year, my children brought me a plant, and long after the blooms were gone, something about that greenery in the house just made me happy. And now I have so many plants in the house. It takes 3 rounds of filling up the watering container
Wow.
to water them every week. And I spent all last evening planting in my garden. So it's something magical happens, and when you put a seed in dirt, right? But there is also something wonderful that it makes the room looks better, it feels brighter, the air feels cleaner, all the good
Mm,
things. So I would so much rather that a renter who lives with us looks at that plant and thinks, wow, that was a really great gift, as opposed to, that plunger they gave me doesn't even work. And why do, I mean, what message are we sending with plungers?
they
Since
have
we
to do
don't
their
do,
own work.
right, we don't do maintenance. And by the way, your toilet's not going to work so great. Like, it's a horrible, horrible message. So I'm going to propose that we think differently about moving gifts. I'd rather have one small, beautiful plant than all the plungers you can get at the dollar store.
Leave the plungers at the dollar store, for sure.
For sure.
Uh, all right, I think we've got two more stories. We're moving up to our seventh floor, and this one kind of near and dear to my heart a little bit. The lie of the imposter. So whenever you feel less than, an unlikely choice for the position you hold, remember you are where you are supposed to be. So lean in, chase knowledge, and consume opportunities to gain wisdom. I will say I have felt this for a long time personally, and it is very hard. But on a day to day basis, I continue to stop looking over my shoulder, look forward, uh, and continue to move forward. The only time I do look over my shoulder, I will say, is to remind myself of the things I have done and have accomplished, as opposed to thinking about what I have not done. So trying to keep that positive mind. I know we all have a little bit of imposter in us, in many aspects. I would assume you do too as well, Sharon.
Yeah, for sure. And I have to acknowledge that still sometimes today, after all these years of doing my thing and gained some knowledge for sure. But there's something about, I admire people who just step out in confidence and chase the thing anyway. Okay, this is going to tell a little bit about my TV viewing habits, but I was watching like the spring baking championship or something. And one of the bakers was not a classically trained, she was a home
Oh.
chef. And so she kept saying, when she would turn in these beautiful bakes, and she would say, I mean, I'm not classically trained. And one of the judges said, stop right now.
Oh. Yeah,
You
that's
are
a good one.
here because you're supposed to be here. And I thought, how wonderful to have somebody say, you're telling yourself that. Nobody here is saying, well, she's not classically trained as you win your,
Mm,
rounds every week. So stop that noise. Shut down that self-talk. It's not good.
mm. Yeah, that's wow, that's good. That kind of really makes you think. And I think the other thing too is have somebody who's in your corner that can kind of remind you of the things you've done and you've accomplished, to keep those things in the forefront of you've got here, right? Or you've made it this steps, as well. So you can do it. You've got the opportunity. Go get it and chase it, and you'll do great.
Yeah, you just might catch it. You never know. But if you don't chase it, chances are you never will, because nobody's going to hunt you down and say, hey, we were thinking you might want to chase this dream we have. We thought you'd want it. If you're not standing up and saying, hey, look at me, how's anybody else going to pick you for that?
That's right. That's right.
All right, we got here so quickly, but we're down up to our eighth story already.
That's right. Top of the floor or top of the apartment.
Top of the apartment building. So this one is about Leo Burnett, and he was an advertising executive and founder of the Leo Burnett Company. He was responsible for creating some of our most well-known ads, like Tony the
Mm.
Tiger, for
Oh,
Frosted Flakes, right? And United's
yeah.
Fly the Friendly Skies, Allstate's Good Hands. He
Wow.
was behind a lot of those ad campaigns. He also wrote a book called Humankind, and
Hmm.
this pencil has humankind on it. But
Oh,
what it
very cool.
really has on the other side, this is from his world, is the pencil. I don't know if I can make it make sense. The sharpening end down here starts at number one. And the trick is you should write every day. So you have to keep sharpening the pencil. By the time you
Mm.
get to number eight, then you become proficient at what you're doing, at writing. So
Wow.
this pencil is a reminder every day to write. Whether you think you're good at writing or not, do it anyway. And over time, you're going to build that proficiency. But the thing that I really love about Leo Burnett that stood out to me was, he was really important. He was one of the most influential people of the 20th century by Time magazine standards. But he believed that every company should ask themselves these three questions: who are we? What do we believe? And what are we going to do about it?
Ooh, those are good.
I think those are the foundation of whatever you decide to do, whatever company, whatever podcast you decide to start, whatever you choose to do, asking yourself those three questions. Who are we? What do we believe? Because that's so many times those are what you say your core values are.
Yeah.
But if they are your core values, then what are you going to do about it? How are you going to behave in a way that proves that to be true? And so I think all of us, wherever we are, asking those three questions is a good way to really orient yourself in the right direction.
I love that. And if we're going to answer those, get yourself we'll get one of his pencils.
Yes.
I love
Humankind.
that.
I don't know if the book is even in publication anymore. Mike loaned me his for a while, but
Oh,
this
okay.
pencil, I love it so much that I write with other utensils. But I do write every day. But I am loath to wear out my pencil. I don't have
That is
another one.
that
Maybe I should give
that
it
is
up anyway.
I was gonna say maybe I'll just take a regular pencil and make some markings on it.
Hey, there you
And
go.
right, and then I can
How smart of
kind of
you.
start running. Just want to make it happen. I want to try one. I want to try it. But I love those questions. Who are we? What do we believe? And what are we going to do about it? And I love the last one because without that part, you really don't put anything into action. And I think a lot of the pieces, and even part of having that imposter is you're going forth and doing it and stepping out and making it happen. So I love that. This is a great one. I didn't know about Leo. I'm going to look him up and see what other great cool things he's done, and maybe I'll grab his book. Another one for me to add to my story list. I like it.
You're right. Without the what are we going to do about it, it's just words on the wall.
Hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
where employees call out their employers, right? If they say these are our values, but they see you acting in opposition of those values, then that is where the truth that you're showing is not the one you had hoped you'd be showing.
Mm, yeah. And comes back to transparency. I think they all kind of tie together today. in all
They
of our
do.
stories.
They all work together. Well, Jennifer,
Um,
thanks for another great opportunity to sit down and share 8 stories this week.
Absolutely. It was fun. I love diving into all these different stories that we have, and hope everyone does as well. We've enjoyed everyone listening to 8 stories.
Yes, and please share your stories with us. We'd be happy to give you credit and share them with the world. All right, then we will see you next week on another episode of 8 Stories.
Thank you again to Chadwell Supply for sponsoring this episode. Chadwell Supply delivers unforgettable service with next day delivery, online and in person maintenance training, procurement platform assistance to make your ordering simple. Visit chadwellsupply.com/difference to learn how Chadwell Supply will make your day better.